So today we're fishing a hybrid feeder. We've got a short 4-inch hook length with a mini wafter on. I always carry a tub of water on my side just to test hook bait before I put it out. You want the hook lying flat with the wafter just flickering around in the water. To load the feeder, it's a fairly simple process. I put the first layer on, really tight. I don't want that coming off under any circumstances, so just press it really tight with your thumb. And you just create a little indent with your finger for the wafter to sit in. And you just push that in as so. So your wafter's in and your hook point's always lying flat. And it's a simple case then of just bringing some, layering it up, adding small amounts at a time. And so you've got the consistency you want, just creating a small little parcel of bait. So let's just trim the edges off to tidy it up to help with the aerodynamic of casting. And it's good to go.
Well, George, that was a lovely bream you just caught, and you took it on a hybrid feeder.
That's right, James, yeah.
So, why do you prefer a hybrid feeder over a standard method feeder?
There's many advantages with both fishing a hybrid feeder and a method feeder. Equally, I think each have a place to suit venue specific. It's like today we're at Southfield Reservoir, it's on the outskirts of Doncaster. It's a big expanse of water. I just feel fishing a hybrid feeder over a method feeder just offers you that bit of bait protection. The venue suffers from an awful lot of tow at times, and fishing a hybrid feeder you can really compress the bait around the feeder. So you can always guarantee that when your feeder hits the surface of the water, you've always got that bit of bait around the feeder. Whereas fishing a method feeder, your bait can explode on the surface, leaving your hook bait exposed and away from your bait. That's just one of the reasons why I prefer fishing a method feeder.
It's certainly working well for you today,
yeah.
In the quite challenging conditions. But I think fishing a method or a hybrid's a great way to fish when you want to be a bit more positive as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a really positive method, James, as opposed to fishing a traditional feeder. With only fishing a 4-inch hook length over, let's say, a 50 centimetre, which is the minimum on matches what the venue allows.
Yeah.
Your bites are a lot more aggressive,
yeah,
because the fish are feeding directly over your parcel of bait, what you're presenting. Whereas compared to fishing a traditional feeder, they could be feeding just off your bait.
Yeah. Well, that just proved it, because the bite you just had was absolutely fantastic.
It was, yeah.
There was no missing it, and you know, I suppose if you were getting a lot of activity with line bites in your peg, you know, the classic just sit on your hands and wait for the positive bite.
That's right, yeah. I mean, fishing method feeder, they tend to hook themselves really, because we're only fishing a short hook length. The fish are directly in contact with the weight of the feeder itself. So when you pick up, they're normally on, to be fair.
And what about the actual feed? Do you tend to use ground bait or pellets, or what's your sort of thinking on how you load and feed with a hybrid feeder?
It can be really venue specific, to be honest with you, James. Today, for instance, we're just having a bit of trial and error. At the minute, we're fishing a 50-50 mix of marker pellets and ground bait. Other venues just prefer pellets, where some just fish ground bait.
Yeah.
So the one advice I would give is just take both and just add little bits at a time and just see what works best in the day. Every day is different, and some days they'll respond to ground bait around the feed a lot better than the pellets will do. It's not filling up as much.
Well, that's brilliant. And what about the hook bait? You're actually using a wafter at the moment, aren't you? But I guess it's the same with that. You can try different hook baits as well as the feed as well.
That's correct, yeah. I mean, at the minute I'm just using Ringer's the mini wafters. The smallest ones in the range to do. I just think for the bream, and not been too specific about the size of fish we're catching. I think the smaller ones allow you to catch a smaller amount of fish, whereas bigger ones.
Yeah.
If we're like fishing out and out carp fishing, we could up the size to like a 10 mil size to try and target them better fish. But I've also got just a traditional hook length on as well to fish dead maggot around the hook as well, just to try a bit of something different.
Yeah.
I think the good thing about method feeder is you've just got to swap and change things really.
Well, that's absolutely great. So thanks for those tips. They're really useful, and I think they'll apply to a lot of anglers fishing a variety of different venues like you are today.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thanks, James.